Hey guys, DJ AJ 101 here. WWDC 2012 is finally in the books. It just wrapped up, so I'm about here to give you my overview, my thoughts on what the event all entailed. Let's start off. I have some notes right here, so if I look down like this, I'm trying to look at you, but I need to look at my notes as well. Just so you guys know, let's start off with what happened. Tim Cook took the stage, touted numbers like always. It usually seems that every Apple event starts off with how great Apple is doing and, you know, how many apps they've sold or whatever the case may be. Over 30 billion app downloads, over 650,000 applications in the App Store, and then there was a little inspirational video on what all happened with that, and I'll put some pictures up either above me or to my sides, whatever the case may be, of what all the events entailed as I talk about it. So anyways, after Tim Cook kind of got over, and said, hey, we're changing the world, it's going great, let's get into our event, Phil Schiller took the stage and said, hey, we have some brand new notebooks for you all. So Phil Schiller then took the stage after Tim Cook finally made his little exit and started to talk about brand new hardware that's actually going to be coming to the Mac. So there's going to be brand new, basically updated Macs and MacBook Pros. We've got the 3rd generation Ivy Bridge CPUs from Intel, up to 2 gigahertz in the MacBook Air, 8 gigabytes of RAM finally supported up to that, and a 512 gigabyte SSD solid state drive. And also there's going to be one USB 3 port and a USB 2 port. So there's going to be a 3 and a 2 on the MacBook Air. So Apple is finally touting some USB 3 goodness to everyone that's wanted it. Also a 720p HD FaceTime camera is finally coming to the MacBook Air, which is new because same resolution on the Airs as before. There's no Retina displays on the brand new Airs or MacBook Pros. So that was kind of a downer. But then we jumped to the MacBook Pros and we got the new Ivy Bridge coming to the MacBook Pros as well. Up to 2.7 gigahertz i7, so the new Ivy Bridge is finally coming to the MacBook Pro. 1 gigabyte of video memory for the NVIDIA 650M, and of course that's brand new for the graphics category. Also USB 3 coming to the brand new MacBook Pro as well, the updated MacBook Pro. And of course no Retina. There was actually one more thing. Even before the event got done with the MacBooks, there was one more new thing, and that is the brand new MacBook Pro. It's a brand new 15-inch MacBook Pro. Yes, it does have a Retina display. The resolution is 2880 by 1800. That's 220 pixels per inch. Crazy resolution. It's millions and millions and millions of pixels, and it's also got a brand new anti-glare coating on this screen. So apparently they've made it less glossy. They put a brand new coating on. They actually axed the optical drive. It's all solid state storage now in this brand new MacBook Air, and it's actually really thin. It goes from 0.95 inches all the way to 0.71 inches. It's almost as thin as the thickest part of the brand new MacBook Airs, and it's not tapered either. It's just one thin strip, and it looks really, really neat. 4.5 pounds do these new 15-inch MacBook Pros come out as, and it's also the fastest quad core in a laptop computer. It's up to 2.7 gigahertz Intel Core i7, the new Ivy Bridge CPU, up to 16 gigs of RAM, and also at first it also offers up to a 768 gigabyte solid state storage drive, which is just absolutely crazy in a MacBook Air. And it also has an HDMI output. This is big because no Mac, as far as a laptop goes, has not had that. They've always had the mini display port or the Thunderbolt port to output. We now get a full HDMI connector on the side, which is very huge. I really like that. 7 hours of battery life. There's 2 Thunderbolt ports on it now, and I'm showing you all these pictures. So this is kind of what The Verge was reporting as they were bringing it to us. Bluetooth 2.0. It does not have the new wireless standard, and it still has the same old wireless N, so it's not the latest and greatest, up to date on the wireless. And it's like I said, it's actually got dual mics on it as well for better audio enhancements. That is really cool. And I think the biggest thing is that it starts out at $2,200. I think that is pretty huge, and I think I was looking at the specifications for that, and you get like a 250 gigabyte solid state drive, and you get like a 2 gigahertz Core i7 Ivy Bridge processor. It's a heck of a deal considering what you all get in this MacBook Pro. I think it's going to actually be in good competition with the higher end MacBook Pros, the 15 inches anyway, that are from, like the newer updated ones to the brand new ones. But that of course was for the MacBook line. Apple said, okay, we're done with the MacBook line, let's move on to software. Software now starts off with Mac OS 10 Mountain Lion. 200 new features in Mountain Lion. First of all, being iCloud integration, which isn't that much of a surprise. Documents are now coming from your iPhone, your iPad, into integration with OS 10, which should be very, very cool when you're using Documents, Keynote, Pages, all in the cloud ecosystem, so you can edit it now on your iPhone, your iPad, or your Mac as well. So they're all tied together, which is very cool. New notes, messages, and notification center, etc. That's all been touted earlier. Not that big of a deal when they first introduced Mountain Lion. Voice dictation on the Mac has also been brought to it. Siri Siri integration, part Siri integration. It's not Siri, but it's integration for the voice dictation, which should be pretty cool. Better voice dictation on the Mac. Finally, they've had the same old, I think, for how long, so it's better to see that. iCloud integration is actually also coming to Siri as well, which I thought was pretty cool, because actually you recently browsed tabs like on your iPhone or your iPad, you can now access from one button on Safari on your Mac as well. And it also goes vice versa in iOS 6, which I'll talk about in a little bit. They also introduced another brand new feature, is called Power Nap. And what that feature basically does, if you have your MacBook Air, your MacBook Pro, or whatever Mac that you have, and it's in sleep mode, it'll actually update a lot of stuff for you. It'll actually keep your Mac entirely up to date with your new mail messages and everything else like that. So everything's done in the background. So it's not like when you just open up your MacBook, you click on the mail icon, it says, oh, I got to refresh it. It'll actually be there once you get there, and you pop it right up. Much quicker, much simpler, and it actually does it in the background while it's sleeping without degrading battery life, which is actually quite cool. And actually, they said AirPlay mirroring is also coming. Gameplay Center is also coming to the Mac. They actually had Mr. X, looked like a guy in a race car suit, was taking on Craig Federighi in his gaming thing, but that was quite neat. I'll leave a picture up here about that. But I think one of the biggest things is, and there's a lot of other little smaller details, which I'm sure you can read all about on Apple's website, so if you want to go there and check it out. But I think the biggest news was that macOS 10 Mountain Lion is coming in July for $19.99, so $20, which isn't bad. Hopefully, I would have expected it to be free. I really wish it would, just like the iOS updates. But it's coming in July for $20 for all your personal your Macs, just like Mountain Lion was. And now up is iOS. I know I'm talking fast, but there's a lot of information to get out there in not such a long period of time. So let's jump right into iOS. Of course, Scott Forstall, their main guy at iOS, the division at Apple, took the stage, said there's over 365 million iOS devices now out there on the market. They actually made fun of Android as well by kind of showing the OS install base of market share for iOS 5 that Apple has and Android 4.0 ice cream sandwich. And it was quite a dramatic install base difference, so Apple, of course, poking more fun at Android. 200 new features, including a Siri update. More advanced questions. They were actually asking some questions about baseball and getting player statistics. I think Scott was actually asking, Siri, who's taller, LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, which is, quite neat. And they actually had a little bit of a bit on football as well, so you can actually do more advanced things as far as more advanced questions, for applications and app data. And so they were actually asking about the San Francisco's 49ers first game, which is against Green Bay Packers. Go Green Bay. I'm just saying that just because they said it. That was quite neat. Also, a lot more Twitter integration with Siri as well. So you can actually do hands-free Twitter. You could say, hey, send a tweet to this, send a tweet to that. So it's just like, message in your mail, your text messages, whatever you want like that. And there's actually more integration as well for hands-free in the car. They talked about a bunch of automotive makers, a lot from GM, that we're actually going to be doing a lot better integration for, the steering wheel thing. So, doing Siri from your steering wheel could be quite neat, so that way it's a lot more hands-free, makes it more safe while you're driving. You're not fuddling around looking for the buttons on your phone. Or one of the best things I think that came out of this was Facebook. Finally, Facebook integration, heavy Facebook integration, which has been a long time coming in iOS 6. So basically, just like Twitter integration in a lot of the core apps, you can now not only tweet, you can send it to Facebook. There's also a brand new feature called Do Not Disturb, which actually doesn't light up the screen of your iPhone or make a noise, so you can actually set, who you want to get your, main contacts from. If there's someone that you're waiting on a text message for, but you want to sleep, so you're not getting a million text messages at night or phone calls or whatever the case may be, you can actually enable that right in the software now of iOS 6. Also, FaceTime over cellular 3 and 4G networks. This is probably one of the biggest things about iOS 6 that I just loved about it. Finally, you're not tethered to Wi-Fi. You can actually do FaceTime over 3 and 4G cellular carrier networks. Siri and iOS tabs, just like iCloud. So just like I said before in Safari on the Mac, you can browse your history on your iPhone. You can do the same on your you can do the same on your iPhone from your Mac. So if you're browsing a tab on your Mac, you can look it up on your iPhone. Also, more integration with photo streams. So you can actually share photo streams, which is quite nice. So if you have multiple iPhones on your account and you want to share pictures with each other, you now have multiple shared photo streams. So now you can share pictures. Just don't share the pictures that you don't want to share. And also, last but not least, was a brand new, rewritten from the ground up Maps application. Finally, what's been rumored for a long time, there is a brand new Maps app with a ton of new features. Very, very similar to the Maps event that Google just held about 1 week ago. And Apple has finally rewritten their own Maps app from the ground up, and it looks quite good. Locations is a big one, over 100 million businesses listings they put on the slide, and I'm sure it can do a lot more than that. It's also got Siri integration, which is huge, turn-by-turn directions, which looks just as good as a GPS screen, as you probably can see from the pictures I'm putting up right here. It's almost killing GPS in a way, probably a little bit, but I'm sure GPS will offer a few more perks that you might want to get the actual application for. Fast round navigation, so basically it'll give you the fastest route. It'll do traffic updating as well, sends anonymous data up to the servers, I'm guessing kind of like what Google Street View does as well, so you can actually find the quickest route, which is quite nice. And also one of the biggest things, which is 3D views, so you can actually fly into cities. They're actually doing the Opera House in Sydney, so you can actually do flyovers in cities and do these little turn things, kind of like Google 3D is going to do. So I think that Apple has a really attractive Maps app here, and I think they are going to put some competition on Google to do a lot better job, which is very cool because it looks very much similar to what Google announced. So I think Apple and Google are very much on par in a couple of big ways. I think Apple still has some ways to go as far as getting the smoothness and everything else put into place for their maps, obviously because Google's been doing it longer, but I think they have a great start for their new Maps app, and I can't wait to play with it in iOS 6. And they said iOS 6 is going to be coming out later this year. Didn't exactly give a date, so if anybody else has heard anything different, please leave this below. I'm just got done with the keynote. I haven't researched everything yet, so I'm hoping that this is going to be very good. Can't wait to get my hands on iOS 6. Tim Cook came back out, said, hey, this is why we love doing what we're doing, and that was about it for the keynote. Thanked everybody for coming, and that's about it. Honestly, I like all the stuff that they talked about today. Two of the biggest ones is iOS 6 with the new Maps integration, as well as the Siri integration finally getting updated. I think that's very cool, but I think one of the biggest things is going to be those brand new MacBook Pros are going to be very attractive to a lot of people in the pro community, especially with the starting price of $2,200 is not bad. A lot of people were saying $3-4 grand for this new MacBook. I think that's priced very aggressively for starting out. I'm sure you can get it to $4 or $5 grand with putting all the add-ons in it, like a 760 some odd gig SSD and whatever. But it's a very attractive offering. I think that MacBook finally spells the death of the desktop. Apple did not mention one desktop in this presentation, period. Mac Mini, iMac, Mac Pro were not even talked about, but oddly enough, they did have a picture of the Mac, or the iMac, excuse me, in the backdrop of the laptop. So maybe there might be an update coming soon with a Retina iMac, but really as it's looking, Mac Pros were not mentioned, Mac Minis were not mentioned, and they weren't even shown in any of the shots. So it really kind of goes to show, where is Apple going to go with those two machines, unless they come up with a different Mac event where you're going to see updates to the iMac and the Mac Pro and stuff. There may be a small update, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. It kind of gets me worried, where the future of the desktop Mac is going, but the laptop market looks strong. So any of you that are interested in laptops might want to check that out. But anyways, guys, I've been talking way too much. I liked all the announcements today. I wish we would have seen a little bit more as far as the desktop line is concerned, but I think everything looks good. Apple announced a lot of great products, a lot of great updates, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. This video's been way too long, so please leave your comments below. I'd love to hear it. Also, feel free to rate this video up, subscribe if you happen to like my content. Feel free to check out my YouTube channel as well if you happen to like my content. I do a lot of tech reviews, unboxings, and stuff like that, and pretty much got an archive of videos there if any of you would like to check it out, and I would greatly appreciate that. Anyways, guys, WWDC 2012 is in the books. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great one till then, guys.